Hello everyone, and welcome back to the Conrail's Ohio and West Virginia Division HO scale layout. Well guys, as you can see, as much as I said I wouldn't do it, and I would not give Rapido a bunch of my money again, here we are once again. Today we're going to be taking a look at the new HO scale C36-7 locomotives, and well guys, we're gonna check them out and take a look at them here. They're not the cheapest units out there. I mean, one might say that for the price of these, you could probably buy yourself some clothes, a pair of boots, and a motorcycle even.
I need your clothes, your boots, and your motorcycle.
But either way, I mean, why would you want to do that when you could buy these? So sit back, relax, and enjoy as we take a look at the new C36-7s from Rapido Trains. Alright everyone, so today we're going to be taking a look at the newest run of C36-7s from Rapido. This is actually the first run, and we're going to take a look at all four Conrail units. Those of you out there that know me know I tend to have a bad habit with purchasing all of a road number or a Conrail number when it comes out, so let's check them out. Got to start off by petting Oreo, of course, because he's going to help us with this unboxing here. And I ordered these from my usual hobby shop. Those of you that know will know. I decided not to put them in here, the name and all that, because, well, this is a review on a Rapido thing, and I haven't always had the best experience with the Rapido stuff in recent years, so we won't worry about that. But first out, we've got our 6621, and you can see Rapido put this like plastic wrap, saran wrap kind of stuff around the outer slide piece for the boxes here. I didn't know what the deal was with that, but here you can see we're getting them all out one at a time here. 6635, and go ahead and get our last one out here. Gotta hide that paperwork. And last but not least, here we have the 6639. So those are the four units we'll be taking a look at here. So let's head over to the layout and check them out. Alright everyone, let's go ahead and let's get our new C36-7 out of the box from Rapido. This particular one we're going to be unboxing here on video is the 6621. And one of the little pet peeves I'm already finding here is I don't like how there's no number on the locomotive there. That seems kind of, I always like to look at the locomotive when they put it on the end of the box to see what number it is, not the actual writing. But, what are you going to do? I guess that's bigger, so should be able to see it. But as you guys can tell, we got this plastic cover deal here, this woobly woo thing here. And that's kind of nice to keep the box together. Kind of like that because these lift-off style boxes everybody goes with now kind of like to come apart. So it's kind of nice to have that. So I'll give that a thumbs up for Rapido there. It's kind of nice. And of course you got your, fancy diagram there. Yeah, pretty good looking there. And here we go. We got some parts diagrams here. All your parts and stuff here for if you wanted to lose your mind and try to disassemble and completely reassemble this, there's a whole bunch of stuff there. And you get your it's just the parts list, maybe. I don't know, a bunch of jibber jabber there. Here's another one. This must be, oh, this one must be the Conrail one, and this other one must be the other style there. So there's those, and of course we got some Rapido stickers. I don't know what's with them. They always use another railroad for anything. Like, I mean anything. Like, even this isn't the Conrail style one. They always use all the other railroads. It'd be nice if they used, like, Conrail on something, like, packaging-wise. That'd be pretty cool. And here you can see, I guess we don't like boats or planes, but buses and trains. I don't like buses either, so I got to take, like, half a point because I'm not a bus guy. Trains are cool, but no, you're not going to find CR Steve on a bus, folks. And Rapido stickers, so a bunch of stickers. And of course our service manual here. Yeah, I do like how they do this, like they take the actual locomotive manual and base their artwork off of it. That's kind of cool. And you got a whole bunch of stuff I'm never going to read here. You got your functions, going to need that later because I'm not going to know what anything is. And there's some prototype information and how to hold things, Oh, yeah, message and damage. See, they got some good pictures going on in this one. See, they know we like pictures, so pictures is good. And there's how to get your shell off there. And the only thing, like, I'm kind of not big on with the Rapido stuff is, like, they have to put in, like, their zany one-liners everywhere. Like, literally, I just glanced at this sheet, and the only thing I saw was zero gravity and gravity sucks. It just gets to be a little too much for me, guys. Like, I kind of, I'm all for a zinger here and there, but, like, when I'm just glancing at a sheet and that's the only thing I see, it just is kind of a turn off to me with, your manuals here. So, a whole bunch of stuff in here. Hey, look at that. Look at that. We're 2 pages from the back and we finally found Conrail. Hey, I see how it is, Rapido boys. I see what you guys are doing there. And not only do we, it's a version they didn't do here. It's the non-distillate version, so that's kind of even funnier. Okay, let's get this foam off of here and get down to business instead of me rambling and babbling. Let's see what we got in here. Looks like we've got 2 steps. I don't know how I feel about there being 2 steps in there already. And some of the little bearing cap deals. I mean, either these steps are them saying that the steps are going to fall off, or the steps are going to fall off. They're probably going to fall off, which I'm kind of okay with. I'm kind of used to that at this point. So let's go ahead and get our other half of the box out of here. And these just kind of like to fall right out of the ends there. That's kind of a little bit frustrating. I better put that on the floor too, because that's going to fall down. Okay, so these, I like this foam. It's got a nice foamness to it. That's some great English there. Well, I don't hear anything rattling, so that's a good start. There, we got some foam flying around in there. I kind of started doing a shake test now, guys, because I'm tired of trying to find things on the floor when they fall out of boxes. So I started shaking everything before I open it now. So let's see if we can carefully lift this out of here. Come on, there we go. We'll set this guy down right here. But here it is, guys. Fresh out of the package here. Go ahead and see if we can get some of these foam pieces off without me breaking everything. These are always kind of a bit of a booger, trying to get these ones out from, like, along the hood, because I don't want to, like, pull them out and bend the handrails, because I've done that enough times over the years that I don't want to do that anymore. So I'll just kind of do a little lift deal there, and there we have it. Here's our first unit. The 6621 is out of the box here. It looks looking pretty good. I don't see anything missing just yet, but that doesn't mean there isn't anything. We'll have to take a closer look at this. Let me go ahead and get everything kind of put off to the side here and get the other 3 unboxed, and I'll bring you guys back to actually take a close-up close detailed look at this unit and the other ones. All right, everyone. So I have all four locomotives now out of the box, and unfortunately, the only one that didn't have any rattly parts was our 6621, the one you guys watch me unbox. The 6628 had this particular bearing cap floating around in the box. The 6635 had this particular bearing cap floating around in the box. And of course, the 6639, much as I expected, had a step floating around in the box. Now, I'm not really going to harp on this too much because it's kind of just become the usual anymore from every manufacturer that you get something and parts are falling off of it. It's annoying, it's frustrating, but it just kind of is what it is. For the bearing caps on the 6628 and the 6635, I simply press them back into place on those units. So you guys will get to watch over the course of this review, because if you guys watch to the part where I'm running these on the layout and those caps are missing, you guys will know that apparently just pushing them back in isn't going to be good enough. So let's move on. Let's go ahead and let's just start off by taking the look at the details on this unit, because that's what you're all here for. You guys really want to get some close-up goodness of these C36-7s. Now, as per usual, we're going to start off here in our front pilot area, and we got a pretty nice looking snowplow. I have to give Rapido some points on that. That actually looks really nice. It's got that little lip down there on the bottom, has a nice cut to it, nice edge. Really matches the Conrail prototype ones quite a bit well. Also have rubber MU hoses. Like that's all right, Rapido. Although that one looks like I'm going to knock it off if I keep playing with it. We have some kind of metal coupler, Rapido's whatever coupler. I don't know if they call it the more coupler or the super uber coupler, but it's just a metal coupler, guys, that, as you can tell, I think isn't going to want to close now. That's always fun. And, you know, we got our coupler lift bar there, looks pretty good. Got a little MU receptacle up there. Would have been nice if they would have had the little MU cable hanging up here on the front. That will look pretty nice, but unfortunately they didn't give us those. They did that with the B36-7s when they ran them, but they didn't do that with this. That kind of sucks. We, of course, have our ditch lights, which, just sitting here looking at them, there's an LED in them, mounted directly in them, so that's good. So hopefully those will look good when we actually test out the lighting on these. Come up here to our handrails, and, well, they kind of feel like that metal plastic thing Rapido's been doing, and I don't know, like, it feels kind of sturdy, but it also feels like if you bump into it one time a little hard, it's going to snap and break, and you'll never be able to glue it back together. So, I mean, I like them. I think they look good and they're kind of fine, but I fear they might be a little bit fragile for my taste. But nevertheless, I mean, they look nice. Same with our Conrail marker lights here. Those look good, and they have the proper red lenses like they should. So good to see Rapido getting that correct there. Got our little grab irons up here, and you can see that one moves. That's free extra, I guess. It moves. Little sand filler hatch. And a nice cab detail. The cab overall looks pretty sharp. The lines look good. Got your little wiper blade guy there, looks sharp. Now, the two minor things I noticed right off the bat here. First of all, our number board font is too small. I'll have to put up a picture on that, and that can vary depending on the unit. I believe the 6628, it actually is more correct, but for the rest of them, they had a much larger font, which I'll have to put up on the screen right now, a picture of the number board housings from the prototype unit, but so you guys can see a little bit better. But it's a little bit too small. I mean, it's kind of one of those nitpicky things. You could redo it. I might not. I don't know. My bigger annoyance was when I was also inspecting my prototype photo, the little like headlight surround deal is actually like a silver color. I don't know if you guys can hear that in the background. The cat's sounding like they're having a mosh pit out there right now because I'm trying to film something. But nevertheless, it had like a little silver, like the silver plate deal around it. And as you can see, this is very much blue. And I noticed that on a couple of these units that they're all painted blue and they should be silver. So, I mean, I know, guys, that's kind of nitpicky, But I mean, I'm just pointing it out there because that's, I kind of feel like you need to with stuff like this. It's not like we're paying little bucks for these things. These things aren't cheap these days. So to me, it's kind of important to note all that little stuff. I will say that the blue that they went with is really, really nice. Camera does a pretty good job of that. It looks a little bit darker on camera, of course, because I've got um, the LED fluorescents. They're not fluorescents, but they're LED ones or whatever. So it's pretty bright in here. But anywho, as we come over here to our side and we take a look at the side of our cab here, we got like the nice little strip up here along the top. That looks really good. If my finger won't get in the way. There's like a little nub there where you'd have your flag mounted, your two different antennas there. Those look really nice. I got your little wind deflector mirror deal. That looks good. And of course, we'll take a brief look at our steps here. They are see-through, and that one actually almost looks like it's kind of broken down there. I wonder if I could zoom in on that. That looks kind of weird. That bottom step almost looks like it was broken and they glued it back in, maybe. I don't know. That doesn't look too good looking down from the top there, but whatever. But anywho, our truck detail looks nice. And if we look up here, we've got our little, what the heck, our traction motor cabling there. That all looks really good. Little speed recorder cable there as well. And also, these locomotives actually have step weights. Kind of curious to see how Rapido did that. We'll get to that a little bit later on. But overall, that looks good. Our little warning labels and stuff look really nice as well there. Our cab signal box. I do really enjoy how Rapido does this little piece of conduit that goes into the box there. And they even got the little vent behind the cab there. That looks good too. As we move back at our long hood looks really nice. The overall detail as far as like the molding on the shell looks really good. It has a good bit of detail in it. Some of the little lift ring deals on the top do look a little cheesy, if I'm being honest. These here just kind of, I don't know. I think they could have done a little bit better, but maybe it's just, maybe when I weather it, they'll look a little bit better, but as they sit, they kind of look kind of wonky. But, I mean, our decal overall going on the side looks pretty good. Or our pad printing, if you want to be technical out there. We got our Conrail logo. Everything looked good as far as the logo and decal placement on this when I checked with the prototype photos. So go ahead and we'll move on down here to our radiator end here. As you can see, our fan grill deals here. That'll be a complete fun time to hand paint when we go to paint and weather this here. So those are there. They look pretty nice. We come up here to our top, our see-through photo etched grill deal here. It don't look too bad. Doesn't seem too flimsy either. I'm kind of pressing on a little bit there. Got a little glue residue right there. But yeah, what are you gonna do? That'll disappear with some weathering. A little disappointed that the exhaust stack doesn't have a hole in it. I don't know why, but I always like these exhaust stacks to have a hole in them because it lets the sound out a little bit better and lets you hear more. But yeah, what are you gonna do? Could always fix that later. So now here on the rear of the unit, again, we have some more of our nice MU hoses and another one of these Rapido Super Ubler not KD metal couplers here. Yeah, doing the coupler thing. Got some the little spare knuckle holders, some grab irons and stuff back here. You got grab irons up there too. Drop step it's on there. I don't know how well it'll stay on there. It's just kind of not. I don't know if that's showing up on the camera. It's kind of like not staying on there that well, but what are you gonna do? Got our MU hose back here. It looks pretty good. Looks like we got a little, I don't know what that is there on that marker light lens. I don't know if that's some scuzz up on there or if that lens is chipped or something, but I don't know what that's all about. Another coupler cut bar there. It looks pretty good. And of course, more of the same down this side here. Our engineer's side, again, overall, like the trucks look really nice on this, and you do have all your traction motor cabling, all the doodads and dadu things, and you got your bell over there, and all the interesting technical stuff that I don't know the name for, but it's there. You got your old chain here, just like the old Atlas models. Do kind of like how this one's got a little play to it. That's kind of nice. I like that, so that hopefully you won't break it off the first time you go to work on one of these. But yeah, you got your rotating bearing caps that do the wiggle when you move, so that'll look pretty good going down the track there. Oh, we got a brake wheel too. I didn't even see that before. Wow. But anywho, guys, this is the 6621 here. Now, the big problem I have with Rapido, I've mentioned before, and one of my just biggest frustrations with them is they'll do a run of units like these C36-7s. And the thing that gets annoying is, as a Conrail modeler, Conrail did little things on every single one of them. And they weren't necessarily like major like body modifications or anything. They were generally decaling. And this unit in particular, sometime around 97, I want to say, 96, 97, it actually got lettering under the cab window, like under the number, for ballast express service. This unit and the 6620 both got that. And it's kind of just, it's frustrating to me because this unit had ditch lights for maybe a year before it got the ballast express lettering for its final 2-3 years on Conrail. It's like, well, if you were doing this with ditch lights, why wouldn't you put the proper ballast express lettering on it? And the reason is because Rapido wants to be cheap. I mean, that's really what it comes down to, guys. There's 4 units here, and the only thing that's different between all 4 of them is literally the number on the cab and the number in the number board. Every headlight housing, there's no difference. Every decal is the same. Every warning label, nothing is different between any 4 of them. And that's what kind of annoys me a little bit, because if I could sit here and spend an hour going through prototype photos and doing each one of these units individually and showing you guys, you know, this is wrong and that's wrong and that's wrong, but what's the point? That's just kind of the way they do things. So, not to get my rant out of the way, but it's just frustrating. Because for the price I paid for one of these, I could have bought a Scale Trains locomotive that would have all of those individual perfect details. You know what I mean? Decaling differences and little things like that. So that's what annoys me about it. I'm not trying to, you know, rip Rapido too hard on it. It's just, it's frustrating to me. If these locomotives were like $30 or $40 cheaper, you know, and they just flat out said like, yeah, you know, this is close, you guys got to do that last 10%, I'd be cool with that. If you were, you know, if they were a little cheaper. That's the thing. When you're charging the big bucks, I have big expectations. So anyway, guys, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to take each one of the other ones and we're just going to do a little turntable spin around here on them so you guys can see them. And we'll go ahead and we'll start doing all of our fun weight and coupler height and taking an actual look at the operation side of these. All right, everyone, so real quick here, I forgot to kind of show the underside of one of these units here, and as you can see, I mean, the traction motor style deal they did here with the trucks looks pretty intriguing, pretty cool, looks good. I did notice, of course, they got some of the lubrication oil all over everything, which is a bit annoying. You guys know I don't like that because it'll get all over the packaging and then get all over the model, so that's a little frustrating, but what are you going to do?
As you can see here, we have, it looks pretty good. Might be a little bit on the tight side. Yeah, that one's good. And that one's good. That one's good. That's good. And good. So all of our wheels are engaged here on our 6621. And I don't know how much that's going to show up on camera, but it looks like they actually did test run this unit. I hope at the factory, because I don't think my hobby shop did that. So that's kind of interesting. I've never noticed a locomotive actually come in with actual like wear on the wheels, like they're actually running it. So I wonder what that means. I wonder if Rapido was just being cautious with these, or is there something going on here that you know, what gives? I'm not in the loop on some of the newer Rapido locomotive releases. The last one I got before these was actually the E8s, the executive units. About a year ago, I got those, and you know, I was kind of, those I kind of was, I was happy with them, but I was kind of disappointed at the same time. I guess I expected too much because, you know, they cost damn near an arm and a leg, and I kind of expected them to be at the level of an arm and a leg, and you know, we were a little bit shy of that, unfortunately. But you know, they're still better than trying to build them myself. So, but it looks like all of our wheels are going to be all right. So that's always a good thing, because I'd hate to have to start tearing into trucks on one of these and doing that whole jive. That would not be a very good time. So let's go ahead and let's check out some weights here too, because that's always good to know. Let's see what we got here today with the 6621 is 10.87 ounces. Let's check out our other ones here just for comparison's sake. 10.87 on the 6628. See what our 6635, or 18.87, excuse me. I think I said 10 because I'm an idiot and, you know, I can't read sometimes, I guess. I don't know. Yeah, 18.87. So I think I was just reading wrong. So let me double check that, because, yeah, 18.87. So I did a dum-dum when reading there, guys. So let's head on over to the layout and take a little bit of a look at the coupler height, and then we'll start looking at lights and sounds on these beautiful locomotives. All right, everyone, so we're over here on the layout. Now let's go ahead and let's start off by checking our coupler height here. And our first unit, our 6621, the front coupler looks good. Let's go ahead and take a quick look at our rear coupler here and see if that's also good. Looks like our little pin's grabbing down there on the bottom. I don't like that. So looks like that might be a little bit on the low side then. Yeah, might be there. Make sure that's sitting down all the way. Yeah, so our rear coupler is going to be low enough that our pin's grabbing. Let's see if I can kind of lift that up there. And well, once it's sitting on that little edge for the trip pin there, it'll sit at the right height. But without that, it appears to be sitting a little low. There is a good bit of wigglage there, so let's see if that's going to be an issue with all of these, or if it's just going to be that 6621. Nope, here we go again. Our 6628 also appears to have the same issue there. Let's check out our rear end here and see if this is going to be also be a problem. Well, see, that's just not cool. So we're in deep now. I don't wonder if maybe the coupler box screws might be a little loose. I'll have to take a look at that and see here. But let's do, all right, 6635. We're good on the front. Let's take a look at our rear and see what that tells us. And again, it's catching again. Oh boy, guys, you know, you just can't win sometimes, I guess. Let's go ahead and let's check her. All right, front on the 6639 is good. Let's go ahead and take a look at the rear here. And of course, it's also low. So let me go ahead and I'm going to shut off the camera here for a minute and see if these coupler boxes are a little bit loose and see if that's the problem, and see if I can figure out what's going on there. Go ahead and check into that, and we'll come back and we'll go ahead and we'll start taking a look at some of the lighting features and sound and all that fun stuff. All right, everyone, so I fiddled around with the coupler boxes a little bit. I didn't take them all the way out. I'll wait till I go over the workbench to do that, but none of the screws are loose. So there's something going on with the couplers that's making them sit at different heights like that. I mean, I guess if you remove the trip pin, you wouldn't have an issue. You shouldn't have an issue. It's just more or less that it's kind of frustrating that right out of the box we're having problems like that. But what are you gonna do? We just gotta kind of deal with it here a little bit. So now, for the purposes of being transparent here, I did put each of these locomotives on the programming track simply to program the cab number. And I just did that so that way I could go ahead and have all of these on the layout at the same time. That way I could run them in a consist. So we're going to start off here. We're going to take a look at the lighting here on the 6639 because they should be the same on all of them. So we'll start with this unit here. Now, these units, as soon as you give them track power, the number board lights come on. So we'll go ahead and we'll start with that. Go ahead and throw our track power on. And as you guys can see, there's our number board lights. I mean, they're very dim. It'd be nice if they were a little bit brighter, but I suppose, you know, you can kind of see that. I mean, it's good enough. I wish they were a little bit brighter, if I'm being honest. The camera does a pretty good representation of that. I mean, as you see, if I put my hand over it, it's about the same. You can kind of start to see them then. Now for our headlight, let's see if I can get that on there. There we go. There's our headlight, and it's not bad. If you look at it straight ahead, it looks pretty decent. From an angle, or like what you guys are seeing, it looks a little bit off. But when you look at it from straight ahead, it does look all right. Very dim. Kind of looks like the dimmer's on to me. I kind of wish that was a little bit brighter, if I'm being honest there. It's kind of a little weak, if I'm saying, I guess. A little bit weak. And there's our ditch lights, and, well, I don't know about that. I mean, to me, it almost looks like, and it's going to really show, it really shows up in the camera view here, the headlight almost has like a white bluish hue, and the ditch lights have like a more of a warm white, kind of an amber kind of color to it. It looks good. I like the ditch lights. I just wish the headlight matched them. So that seems about right. This does have step lights, which are automatically on. I will get a picture of that from the side that I'll go ahead and throw in here over the top of this so you guys can see what those look like. Those actually look pretty good. That side angle of them, those actually came out really nice, I'll say. And then our marker lights here, they are directional. So of course with our locomotive forward, they don't come on. So we'll put it on the rear here, and do you guys see it? They're on. Can you see them? They should be on. I don't know. I mean, yep, they're working. You guys, that's about how good they work there, guys. You can't really tell. I don't know why they're so dim. I don't understand that at all. Maybe Rapido could put in the comments why having lights that won't even show up on a damn camera is prototypical. It looks terrible, if I'm being completely honest. So that's a bit frustrating. We're gonna have to figure out a fix for that. Hopefully I could just program that. We'll find out about that eventually, I'm sure. But moving on to our sounds here, we're gonna go ahead and hit our bell. Not bad, not bad. Let's hear some horn action. You hear the silence, guys, right now? That sounds horrible. I'm not even going to try and pretend I like that. That is the worst RS3L I've ever heard. That is, yeah, I'm going to put this back on the programming track because that's not going to fly. F3 is a cupboard clank. Sure. Dynamic brakes, I got to run it for that. You got like flange squeal, I like that, you know. And then all your other various things. Let's go ahead and let's fire this unit up here with F8. So I hope the camera like really does justice to how quiet that is. It kind of sounds like the water running in the house right now from the toilet flushing might be louder than the prime mover on this locomotive. Let's engage our drive hold and let's see if it gets a little better. Alrighty. Well, we'll have to see how that sounds in a consist with multiple of them. But my initial opinion on that, guys, is it's very quiet. I really hope that when I put this on the program, or some of this stuff can be adjusted, because that seems way too quiet unless there's like a really crummy speaker in there, which is possible. It's Rapido, so you never know what flavor of the day they went for with speakers. But it's right now my gut's saying that this is going to be a great candidate for a scale sound system speaker. More than likely is what this is going to be. So let me throw. I'll put the 6635 on the programmer here real quick and see if I can maybe make it better. I don't know. We'll see. Well, let me just see what I could do here. All right, everyone. So we're back over here on the layout. I played around with the programmer, and the marker lights, you can kind of see them a little bit here. They're already turned all the way up. So I was really hoping that they had those dimmed down to be prototypical, and they didn't. They were at max brightness already, so that's going to be a problem. We're going to have to figure out how to make those brighter. Also, I checked the sound, like the master volume and everything was already at 150%, so I couldn't make it any louder for the prime mover. I also checked to make sure the proper RS3L horn was selected, and unfortunately, what we heard in the first one was the correct RS3L selection. It just didn't sound like it, so I did play around with it a little bit, and this is what I got. I mean, I guess, guys, it's kind of better. I don't know. I'm pretty disappointed. I'm really gonna have to. I'm gonna have to get a different speaker for these. These sound terrible, if I'm being completely honest with you. Also, now that we got that out of the way, let me go ahead and reposition the camera here, and we'll do a little bit of running them back and forth just with the sound off, so you guys can hear what they sound like and how they move, and see that a little bit operation before we run them in a train here. All right, everyone, so we have our 6639 selected here. And let's go ahead and we're just going to kind of run through our speed steps kind of slow here and just kind of notch her up, and let's see how she does here. All right, so don't know if you guys can hear that. It does have like a little bit of like a motor hum to it. Not one I'm used to hearing, at least. She does seem to be pretty smooth. Little jerky there by speed step 10, if that's showing up. Not terribly, but let's put it down to speed step 1 and just see what it really does here. Alright, so not too bad, but let's go ahead and I'm going to consist these units up here, and we're going to pull a train with them and just see how they do and how they run together as a group. And then we'll head over to the workbench and pull the shell off and see what I'm really getting into to make these a little bit better and make them right. All right, everyone, so we're over here at the workbench now. We're going to go ahead and do one of my favorite parts here, where we take the shell off of a new locomotive and see how everything's put together here. Now, of course, any of you that have watched the channel before will know that I didn't read the directions, so we're just going to kind of figure this out as we go here. Because what fun would it be if I read the directions, for one, and two, it shouldn't be all that difficult to take the shell off a locomotive in the first place. So let's see how that pans out for us today with this C36-7. Now, I used the 6628 here, as you guys are seeing, because it already had a bearing cap fall off of it. So I just kind of figured, well, you know, this one's already got parts falling off of it. Let's just use this one. So got our couplers off, and shell is still on there. So I'm gonna assume maybe these screws, maybe, I don't know how I feel about that. That kind of, on some models, screws like this will be what holds the weight onto the bottom of them. So I don't know how I feel about taking these out, but I guess we'll see. And of course, this screw's got to be right up against a bunch of detail, you know. I guess this is one of those things that kind of can get frustrating, is they put these screws in like the worst possible little places. I don't really want to take that all the way out if I don't have to. And you know, you design and build a brand new locomotive from scratch, and you still do goofy stuff like this, where you guys can see this screw right here is right on top of a bunch of detail. I don't know why they would do that. Now, I'm not going to pull these out all the way. I'm just going to get them most of the way, because I want to make sure that the shell will come loose before I risk taking these all the way out, because these kind of look like they'd be one of those really fun things to put back. So we'll just kind of leave them most of the way here and see if our shell comes loose here. Hey, we got movement. Will they come all the way off? Alright, so it feels like one of these might still be holding a little bit. Try backing that up a little bit more. I really don't want to take these all the way out, guys. I'm really kind of hoping that I don't have to do that. Nope. Nope, there we go. We got a little movement on the front end. I'm going to break the fuel tank. Alright, I guess these must still be holding on a little bit. That's strange. No, they ain't holding on to nothing. What about this one? That don't feel like it's holding on to anything either. I don't really want to take that one all out. I'll back off these front ones a little bit more and see if that gets us where we want to go here. Alright, now it's feeling like it feels like it's loose, but this back part doesn't want to come up here. So I'm going to have to start, I guess, yanking on this a little bit more. Oh boy, why isn't that coming off of there? Like, my fuel tank's wanting to come apart, but not the shell off the body here. Almost like it's hanging up somewhere in the rear here. And those screws are backed all the way out, so I don't know. Go ahead and maybe I can lift this part. There we go. Okay, so you have to do a little rear shimmy. Alright, well, this looks pretty typical Rapido again here. Another model, another new board design, because Rapido has to just have a new board for every locomotive. I don't know why they can't just design one and stick with it. Let's start off with the inside of our shell here. Obviously, there's our contact pads for the ditch lights in the front. I was happy with those. You could also see our little control stand light hole there. Now, what I'm really wondering about is our front marker lights. They were very dim, and it's gonna be kind of hard to really get this to show here, guys, but when you flip them over and you have light going, and you can see light goes through there, all right, so it must be a piping issue. Looks like there's our headlights and number boards up there all piped in. And as we come here to the rear, we can see that our rear number boards and marker lights are also mounted on the shell. All right. Well, that's not promising. I was really hoping there'd be like a piece of tape in there or something on those marker lights so that maybe, just maybe, we could, you know, get a little more light out of them. Just a little bit. I don't know why they're so dim. I don't know. That's going to be a problem. But here we have our motor and drive here. This seems to be your typical Rapido motor and drive. Also, we have our speaker enclosure deal back here. And it looks like it's built into this weight, kinda. I don't know. It's kind of hard to tell. It looks like there's 2 Sugar Cube speakers in there, but I don't know if they have enough room to breathe. That's my question, is how much of this is carved out for the speakers. You got this big area right here. It'd be perfect to have a speaker area in, and well, it doesn't really look like it. It's kind of hard to see down in there, and I would have to take this whole board off to get in there and actually look, which we're not going to do here. But that's, I'm not too pleased with that, to be honest with you guys. Here you can see, here's our Mo Power, because, you know, Rapidos. It looks like those are all hardwired into the board, so, oh boy, guys. Like, so, here's my problem right now, looking at this. The marker light issue looks like it's going to be something I'm not going to be able to fix without completely rewiring the marker lights and hard mounting them into the shell. So if I have to do that, basically I have to delete this whole board, because at that point I'll be going with a decoder buddy, because it's just not going to work. You know what I mean? There's no good way to just do those marker lights, because I would have to hard mount them to the shell. So at that point, this whole front deal will have to come out. And if I'm going to do that, I might as well go ahead and redo our headlight at the same time, and our rear light and number boards, because you can't just do part of them. When they do this BS with this crap, you got to do the whole job. So that's, oh boy. So guys, it looks like, I guess if I'm going to redo this, the step lights look like they're good. I'd hope I could save those how they're done. But it looks like to fix this right and to have the lighting look good and have a good speaker in here, at the very least, I'm looking at a decoder buddy and a keep alive, because I lose their stupid keep alive because it's hardwired in here. They didn't put it separate like what Bowser did with the SD40-2s, of course, because they're Rapido. And then that still leaves the question of our speaker enclosure back here. My gut's telling me that this is how big the speaker enclosure is. It might have a little bump down, but that's why it sounds so quiet and not great. So therein lies my problem. If I'm going to replace the speaker enclosure, I'd want a big one back here. And at that point, I would have to see, if I'm already ripping this all apart, I'd have to see how this weight is. If this weight separates from the frame, like I suspect it does, especially if it's 2 pieces, which it appears to be, I'd really like to take this top piece and cut this down here and make myself a big area for a speaker. So guys, that's kind of, oh boy, that's kind of where we're at after pulling this apart. I'm sure you guys can really hear the disappointment in me. After seeing pictures of these and getting them in and first looking at them, I was kind of really excited for the thought of just being able to weather this and run it. But after seeing how poor the lights are and the sound is, these are going to require a lot more work. And it's very frustrating to me, because I'm going to have to put another $20, I believe, for a decoder buddy. And then on top of that, I'm going to have to put $40 for a freaking keep alive in here. So I'm going to have to, and that's before I get a speaker. So then you're talking another 10, 20 bucks right there. and then LEDs. So basically, my DCC and sound locomotive I have here, I'm gonna end up dropping another $100 on just to make it right. And that's kind of my beef with Rapido. Had I had known that this was going to be the shenanigans we were going to have here and the lights were going to be trash, I probably would have just gotten a DCC ready model and the DC version, and would have just went with one of these guys from ESU with the Keeple I built in and just done that whole deal rather than go the whole route of the decoder buddy and an extra Keeple I and all that. But I guess you live and learn, guys. So I guess I'm going to go ahead and stop this here, and I will put the shell back on and put this back in the box and give you guys my opinion. Over top of that, I'll record a voiceover and tell you guys how I really feel and what I really think of this, if you guys aren't already getting the drift.
All right, everyone. So my closing thoughts and remarks here. I guess it's really kind of summarized best here, using a little bit of a comparison. Last month, I did a review on the scale trains SD40-2s when they came in, and I picked up 4 of them initially when I did the review. I was so happy with those, I ended up picking up 2 more. Now with these Rapido C36-7s, I had contemplated possibly picking up 2 more before I filmed all this, and now that I've taken a look at them, that's definitely not happening. I am very, very annoyed at how bad the lighting is on this and how terrible the speakers sound. I know when you guys are probably watching the run-bys in the video and the sound demo, it sounds better on film than what it actually does in person. It's much quieter in person than what it's coming off at in the video recording. So it might sound like, oh, that'll be okay. No, guys, it will get drowned out by every Scale Trains, Bowser, Atlas model I own because they're just so damn quiet. And um, I am just very annoyed with the fact that with what this model costs, I'm about to have to drop more money into it to make it right, and there is absolutely no reason for that other than Rapido's cutting corners and doing things the cheap way. And it's just frustrating. It's very, very frustrating to me. The whole reason I picked these up, I originally wasn't going to, after the camp cars came in, I wasn't going to get these. But I decided after seeing like the pre-production pictures and stuff, and I looked at my B36-7s I had from them, and those were all great. Save for some stupid programming issues I've had with them, but they were all, the lighting was good, the sound was decent, and everything was pretty good with them. So I felt like, grabbing these was going to be a pretty good deal because they had the Keeple I built in direct from Rapido. So I figured these would be pretty nice and should be a pretty easy weather up project that I could run on the layout and have a nice model. And unfortunately, that's not where we're going to be at with these. Will I buy more in the future? Maybe. Like if they do a run of the quality ones, I might. But those ones will definitely be DCC and sound ready. And because I'll just get my own ESU board and try and save a few bucks that way. Having to swap in a decoder buddy and a keep alive and all that with this it just runs the cost up way more than what I want to be into for one of these, and that's pretty not cool. You guys will have to tell me what you think down below. Let me know your guys' experiences. Any of you that bought these, are you happy with them? Did yours have parts falling off everywhere? I mean, I'm not really that annoyed about that because that kind of seems to be everybody anymore. But I'm more or less just curious. Did anybody else have like marker lights that you can't see and just overall crummy lighting and stuff? Because that seems to be what I had here. Just very, very not cool. So I don't know, guys. I guess really to summarize things and say how I really feel. I'm half tempted to do my rework on this and fix all the lighting and fix all that stuff and film it and then send Rapido a bill. Send them a little bill for all the extra stuff I had to get to make their model right because that's just ridiculous. So you guys tell me down below. You tell me one, what do you think of the ones you got, and two, Would you guys want to see me fix this? Because I could do a video on that if you guys want. And hey, look on the screen right now. There's a step floating around in the damn shell because you can't even put the thing away without a step falling off. So hey, but let me know, guys. Do you guys want to see me do a fix it up on one of these? Because I'm kind of on the fence. I'm half tempted to just put them in the boxes and leave them under the layout for another time. But you guys tell me if you want to see it. I could probably have it done by the middle of December if I started on it here, because I'd have to order the decoder buddy and everything. But I might just tear one of these down Friday, which will be the day after this video comes out, and see what all I'd actually be getting into to fix it, see how the weight could be cut down, all that to get a better speaker in and do that whole jive. So you guys tell me. Either way, I want to thank everybody for watching and sticking it out through another hour-long video here, because these always end up way longer than I mean for them to, but that's just the way she goes. But as always, guys, I'm Steve. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.